Hey, howdy, and good morning. I wanted to get back to you guys. Remember that older couple we talked about last week with the dryer of death and the pool noodles? They're still alive. I know some of you are probably like, oh my God, what's going on? Those nice people. We fixed it. So this time, hang on because we're going to go back to, I'm going to show you in detail what happened, why that situation with them being shocked happened, and then how we fixed it. Come on back. Good morning. Let's continue this saga. So, old timers, pay attention. There I was, surrounded all the way around by enemy, knee deep in expended grenade pins, ammo, and brass, and I didn't die. Does that have to do with this at all? No. But it's close. Let's watch this. So, if you look at an old three-prong dryer plug, you got your two phases, L1, L2, you got your neutral. You have a cord, and then back, here's sort of a schematic of what's supposed to happen. We have the neutral that's bonded to the ground, and we have the two phases that feed the heating coil that heats up the air inside the drum. One leg in neutral usually runs a motor that turns the drum, so stuff. But here's what we had instead. Instead, bear with me, we had, we'll just call it L1, going into the ground and the neutral. Okay, that was going here, but then the ground was now feeding L2. And so I asked my guy who troubleshot this, I said, what'd you find and how did this even work? So look back over here, the schematics. So what we had here was the ground coming to one of the legs. We had the phase, one of the phases, the other one going to the ground. So what happened, obviously, is that the whole chassis of this dryer was energized. That is a fancy symbol for energized. You can use that anywhere you want. You're welcome. So when I asked how did this even work, because the coil provides resistance that gives us heat just like it does on an electric stove or electric water heater, and he said, well, it worked, but it was just really slow. So this coil, instead of having 240 volts, was now getting only 120 volts. So apparently it still worked. It was just running or heating really, really slow. So here is the moral to this story. For you guys who are do-it-yourselfers or anybody, electricians or not, that really doesn't know how to use a meter. So here's what I'm getting to. Here's our three-prong. I'm trying to remember how this goes on our ancient dryer plugs. So if let's say we replay this scenario and probably set that timeline back 10 years. I hope it wasn't longer than that. I'm sorry, that might have been 10 years that somebody was getting shocked off their appliances and just lived with it. That's so weird. But real quick, bottom line is once you're getting shocked, you're going to take a meter, not a hot stick, not a wiggy. You're going to take a meter, and you would see that this normally is going to be 240, and from one of the legs to ground neutral it should be 120, and the same over here. Okay, so my point being, for you guys who are insistent on doing things yourself, at least know how to test to see if your stuff is right. And this will be the same for any old dryer, any old oven. That's our two main offenders from the 40s on. That's another story we need to talk about, why three-pronged stuff was allowed for so long. So my point being is if you're getting shocked and then we had put a meter on, here's what we would have found. We would have found from here, we would have found 240 from one of the legs to now the energized ground. And on the other side, we would have had 0. Okay, and the reason why is this leg is energizing this, and this is ground, so actually I take that back. Sorry, guys. This would still be 120 if these legs were combined on the ground. And then this, actually that would have been, where would we have had 220? Only over here. So you would have 120, everything would have been shifted. So from one of the phases to neutral, you would have had 240 because the neutral is now energized. From that same phase to what is now a ground, because this got swapped, it'd be 120. One of these would be ground to the other phase. So there you go. So anyway, that's a lot of talking to say it's wrong. So that's my thing, is if you don't know what you're doing or you can't use a meter and you're something like this is happening on one of your appliances, and that's any appliance, you're getting shocked, either learn how to use a meter and fix it, or call an electrician who uses a meter. Here's my caveat. If an electrician shows up and he pulls out a hot stick, an inductance tester, looks like a fat pencil with a blinking light, send him away and get another electrician who will pull out a meter that has a little digital screen and makes noises. That's what you want, okay? You can't troubleshoot something like this with a hot stick. Doesn't work. I'll see you all in the next one.